I've made my way down to Dallas, Texas, a world-class city in the largest metro area in the Lone Star State. Now, when most people think about Texas, they think of cowboys, cattle drives, and barbecue. But for a mason like me, I think of the sandstone. I love sandstone for its rustic look and its earthy color palette. It can be used for walls, fireplaces, or floors, and can be used in inside spaces or outside spaces. Sandstone is not only affordable, but it's durable enough to put up with this Texas heat. It's a great choice for homeowners.
Hi, Mark. Welcome to Dallas. Thank you for coming.
All right, well, thanks for having me, Lexa. I can see the beautiful Texan sandstone that we've been talking about. It looks great.
Thank you. We love the look of it, but as we've been working on the house, we've noticed we think it may have been flipped, and there's some things that aren't quite right, and we're so glad you're here to help us.
Well, I hate to say it, but it does look like a flip job, only because there are a couple things that tell me it's probably true. First off, you can see that this is just a veneer, but they try to apply it to concrete, which is a cold bond, so you're never really going to get a great bond, and that's the result.
We also noticed that some of the parts of the stairs have come off, and we're worried about people walking on them.
Right. You can see the edge of that stone. Every time people enter, they want to hit that with their foot, and that kind of projects that back end up and down and all that. So that's probably why that happened, but we can fix that.
Let's do it.
First thing we want to do is to see what's loose and what isn't. This one here is nice and tight, so we're going to leave that. This one here is kind of embedded into the pattern. I can tell it's locked in, so we'll leave that. Same with this guy over here. But this one, if you look at that crack underneath, if I wiggle that a little bit, I know this is loose. So this one definitely has to go, but watch out, because you can see how it rides into the stone that sits on the hip. So if we pry this up, we're going to do some damage elsewhere. So we just want to be careful. You have a hammer and chisel on you ready. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this back joint out right now and hopefully loosen the stone up enough for us to just peel it back. You can see this mortar's a little soft, which is great for us. All right, so this joint came out pretty nicely. And actually, if you don't mind taking that out. That's it. Great, grab that little piece back there. So you can see this stone kind of broke itself, which is fine. I want to take the rest of this joint out because we're going to need the room. We need a certain amount of inches from the deck to the top of the step. So if we did not take the rest of this mortar out, the stone that we do put back in is going to be high. We can't have that. I'm actually hearing some good sounds. You can see the mortar joint breaking up right there. So at this point, what I want to do is try to get under everything. I don't want to pry because we're going to knock other stone around. If you don't mind, you can start down there as I pull this stuff out. Don't be afraid to give it a little muscle. Yep. I want to clean this stuff out from behind the stones as much as possible. This one's got a little bit too much of a wiggle for me, so I pulled it. Same with this guy. That's okay, they'll go right back into place. Gives us the opportunity to take anything loose off. We're gonna take this brush and I'm gonna remove all the heavy dust. Now I wanna take in some water. We don't want the existing material to take the water out of our new material. So that's why we wanna wet it down just like this. The next important step is we're gonna add a little bit of additive to our step. This, for intent and purpose, is just glue. You can do it dry or wet. We want to make sure we take a brush, spread it properly into all the nooks and crannies. Now, when this mortar hits this, it has something to stick to. This additive can also be put into the mix, but I like to apply it right to the substrate of what we're doing. All right, Lexa, now the fun part, we're gonna put the stones back in. Just wanna give you a few pointers before you get going. I'm gonna take my margin trowel, I'm gonna use the back side. That gives me the best ability to fill all those nooks and crannies. So, just like that, push it in. Now I'm gonna take the front part, and I'm gonna do the same with this stone. I wanna back butter my stone, so I turn it to the back side. I'm gonna leave it really high in the back. Why? Because I'm gonna press it into place. Don't forget, my height is already given to me by the top of this step. So all I have to do is match that. Now I know I have a good bond. I want to stay with the same face on the right and the same face on the left. So now what you can do is take that margin trowel and fill in all of that. Doing a good job. Yep. There you go, beautiful. Look at that, using the back side of the trowel like a pro. I love it. That's my bed joint. This is what a mason will call furrow, and we're gonna create highs and lows. So when we press our stone into the bed joint, these high spots will wiggle into the low spots, and again, just creating a better bond. Just press it into place. If that mortar works its way out, that's good with us, because now that's how we know it's full. Now the trick here is not to use too much mortar, because don't forget we have height restrictions. We have to match the back stone. So we just want to get it into where it was. As we wiggle, we're filling nooks and crannies that we can't see. I'm knocking it down because there's my height. This is the replacement stone. This helps get rid of the saw mark. Rough it up, and it'll kind of mimic the existing stone. Once the weather takes over, it'll fit in very nicely. I'm gonna do my furrow. I wanna wiggle in so the bottom gets a full joint as well. The height is already given to us. I'm not gonna be afraid to use my trowel. We want to make sure all these joints are packed. This is the last opportunity we have to make them full. There. You want to make sure you get mortar under this stone. It's the edge. That's where everybody's foot's going to hit first. The stronger, the better. Always trying to mimic existing work, and that's why we're going to take our paintbrush.
It kind of picks up the graininess that's on the rest of the mortar.
So all the aggregate that is in the sand will come through with this brush. And it's okay if I mess up the edges right now, because I am going to come back with a sponge to clean off the stones. Now we're just going to sponge it off. You want to make sure those edges are clean. If they overflow, they look sloppy. All right, we'll let that dry and we'll hit it one more time with the sponge and then we'll let it set up. For the hips, we're going to do the exact same process.
It looks wonderful. Thank you for coming to Dallas. It's great having you.
All right, I love the city and thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.